Now, when I was very young and first went with the Falls, if there was 4 or 5 hooligans, sort of standing in the way, they would be told to move. And God help them if they didn't move. They'd get a bite on the bum, and probably a smack round the ear hole with a cape, from the policeman.
They use mice, don't they, for things?
What, eyeliner?
It's not nice, really, is it?
What, lipstick on a Yorkshire Terrier?
Oh, no.
You cannot have an effective working police dog which is non-aggressive. As they get older, all they want to do is be the leader of the pack. It's their instinct. And every now and again, he probably just challenges me for the leadership of the pack. So every now and again we have a little tete-a-tete.
I feel that if I've given my best performance and it's a good one, then obviously I get the reward, the pat on the back, knowing that you've tried to do your best for your coach. They've given you the training, the least you can do.
I really look forward to going to work because I really enjoy working with people that have got difficulties and struggles, and I feel like I can make a difference.
You start Monday, Tuesday, you do mornings. Wednesday, Thursday, you do afternoons. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you do nights. But I've done this, you don't know if you're coming or going. Every 2 days, you've got to change your sleep pattern.
It can be stressful, yes, as a runner, because you strive to...
But if you work every day and you're doing something you don't enjoy, then life must be so miserable, and if you're doing something you don't enjoy, I don't know why you don't just give it up and do something you do enjoy, because, you may as well enjoy life because you don't live for very long, so you may as well enjoy what you're doing when you are working. And I really enjoy what I do, and if I ever did something that I didn't enjoy, then I'd give it up immediately and do something that I really did enjoy because I like to enjoy life,
When I retire from racing, I don't even like to think about it. I feel that each day I can run, touch wood with injury-free conditions, then I'll run till I drop. Tactics are very important in a race.
Oh, I love Blackpool. Little stick of Blackpool rock. Get that on George Formby, don't you? My little stick of Blackpool rock.
I think the favourite beach that I do is right up there where you can see the cliffs at Scarborough, where the donkey ride. It's on the south side, on the north side. I think that's the nicest part, and Bridlington Beach. But I think the Scarborough Beach is the nicest one that I've ever been to.
What I love is just splashing in the waves, and it's really cold, and you just jump in the sea, swim around in there, and it's just really nice.
I've always felt uncomfortable with hot weather. I don't like hot weather. I don't like it. So, and you don't either.
No,
do you?
I can't.
So we're agreed on that.
I can't sunbathe for very long because I had a very hot summer. I got sunstroke, and I can't sit out in it too long. I can sit for so long, I sit for an hour, get some plenty of cream on, but after that I start feeling sickly and I've got to come in.
At the end of the day, what's it doing? It's cooking you, isn't it? The sun is actually cooking you.
Plus
That's
I get
why
heat
you go
rash.
brown.
If I'm in it for 10 minutes, I get a heat rash.
I love scrambling over rocks, being in the rock pools, and just looking for crabs and looking for mussels.
They don't look like they're happy. You know, the way they're painted smiles and their hair. And I don't like the music, that that horrible roundabout music with, clowns aren't not my...
No, what I enjoy about clowns, I think they're very talented actually, because when clowns get together at the circus, they can do things that are very funny, like they can throw custard pies at each other and things in a very funny way to make a lot of people laugh, and you have to be very talented to be able to do that. You have to be an entertainer.
No, oh my goodness, no way. They're so horrible. They're really frightening, and I think a lot of people are scared of clowns.
And They're very funny, actually.
One's got a waggy tail and a cold nose, and the claws are like totally contracted all the time, whereas the other one contract their claws and it's got sharper teeth and pointed ears.
Which one's which?
The cats are the ones with contracted jaws and sharp teeth and the sharp pointed ears.
I like dogs better than cats though.
I don't.
They seem to be more friendly somehow. Dogs like greet you, whereas cats just sit, they can sleep for so long. No.
Cats can appear to be lazy, but I don't think they are.
I find cats, they claw the carpet a lot. They're a complete nuisance, actually.
I think you get more out of a dog in response.
Well, they're more
Like,
interesting, aren't
I
they?
think they're thicker than cats, personally.
Do you?
I do.
I used to be a chaser myself, but I mean, it's about what?
It's all about competitiveness, you know what I mean? You see these blokes and like, it's like as if they've been let off a lead. You know what I mean? Like,
it's
and
like,
then, like,
it's like
it's just more than life, man.
Watching hounds after a hare, you know what I mean? It's just...
I've been chased by a Great Dane, a slavering big thing, and it frightened me. I've been bitten by a beagle. I've been chased by an old English sheepdog, which was, I would say that was a springboard into me becoming a Christian.
Mm. You always say dogs come sniffing at your private parts.
Do I?
That's one thing you always say.
Well, they told me they're not, that they're just being affectionate.
I think the best thing to do is to put on some flea powder, which you get from the vet. But it's probably not a good idea to have a good scratch because that makes it red and raw and a bit rough and everything.
Most pedigree dogs, to get them perfect, they've got things wrong with them. It's either the bull terrier, the bulldog can hardly breathe because they bred into them, that flattened face, it's a bulldog, innit? And a lot of the breeds have suffered when they show a cross.
They look ridiculous with silly bowls. Looks stupid.
I'm certainly a loyal companion, but I have to say I've been let down a lot too in my life. I might be very loyal, but I do, like my father said before me. He said, you trust everybody once. And that's what I do. I trust everybody once, no matter who they are. So I'm loyal to the point of disloyalty.
Cats, on the other hand, they are the clever ones. They give humans nothing.
I'm not a cat person. No, they're not loving enough and they hiss a bit and they don't do anything. They just wee all over the garden and leave brown stains all over the grass and just make a nuisance of themselves.
I've defecated outside, of course I have. You know what I mean?
If you step in dog mess, then it's not very hygienic and it's not very it's just not nice.
That's a dirty, filthy business, and that ought to be stopped totally.
But I think dogs are more, for a start, I think they smell more. Whereas a cat, you can leave a cat to it, whereas with a dog...
Yeah, but if you've got a burglar coming in your house, at least a dog makes a noise.
Yeah, but you could throw the cat at the burglar.
That's a silly thing to say. Dogs are more interesting. That's the end of it.
No, it's not the end of it.
We'll just have to agree to disagree then.
You see, I've had a lot of things wrong with me. I mean, I'm always going to the doctors, and you get there and you find out, you know, there's queues to wait all the time, isn't there? Most of the time, and then, well, I mean, doctors a lot of the time waiting in queues, and, well, I mean, most of the time you spend most of your time in the doctors waiting, don't you?
Well, I'm sorry, I'm one of these that goes to the doctor when it's generally necessary. I mean, I am one of these goes for every pill, potion and tablet that there is. you know, if I know what's the matter with me, I mean, I expect the doctor to do something about it. I won't be fobbed off by them.
Well, it's these heart palpitations I get. You see, you never know when they're going to come, and they just, you got your heart jumping about all over the place.
Got a small scar on my forehead where a child threw a brick at me. Well, it seemed like a brick at the time, but...
I've
and
no
I've got a scar here.
I've no scars whatsoever anywhere. Have I? In fact, you count that as a scar. It's only a little.
Well, it is a scar, yeah.
Well, I don't count it as a scar, so.
Do you not?
No.
That's what I got now. I've got throat swelling now. I've got the tablets for that at the moment as well.
I mean, I could have had a DVT, couldn't I, laid in bed all that time, but I mean, as I said, they gave me an anticoagulant. Anyway, I'm here to tell the story, so there's people worse off than I am, and I can walk about all right.
You see, I've had a lot of things wrong with me. There was big problems with my eyes at one stage. I went in about my eyes on a lot of times and had to go to see specialists. And you see that, but what they do is they clamp your head in a big clamp and they want to bounce things on your eyeballs.
I had a blood test the other day, but I do not like needles. I don't like needles at all. I look away when I'm having an injection.
Well, you can't, I couldn't be doing with that, and so I'm pulling my head out of this clamp all the time. That's another occasion when they told me I could just go on my own way, so I got thrown out of there as well.
I can't do with sputum, and I can't do very much with feet. I can't do anything with anybody's feet. I've all on doing anything with my own, and sputum really makes my stomach turn over. I don't mind vomit.
Dr. Bewers, he was very good, that boy. I mean, I think he was the first one that told me, some of the many things that was wrong with me. I had a problem with the inner ear and asthma, what I had for a long time. Now it's a lot of talk, is what I find. Yeah. Sorry, what was the question again?
We went to a friend's last weekend, and this poor little hamster's in this wheel thing for its exercise.
Well, it had a little car. It was a Volkswagen Beetle with a wheel in the middle, and it actually, by working the wheel, moved across the carpet.
I think, go for things that are obvious. Dogs and cats and the like. I mean, there's all sorts of people, they have things in their bathrooms and all sorts, don't they? Alligators and that sort of thing. Wouldn't have it in my bathroom, I can say. Nope, wouldn't.
Dogs are just stupid. People go on about how
stupid as stick insects. Stick insects are the most stupid creatures in the world. I mean, look at me pretending to be a log. Isn't that clever? Oh, I'm a little twig. Isn't that great? I mean, dogs are far better than that.
I don't know. A lot of old nonsense, I think, really. So, I mean, you need to spend proper amounts of money on things, but you see some of these dogs that people have about. No, I don't think you need to spend a lot on them.
I think cats make good pets.
There's quite a lot of cats with bad breath, though. That's what I don't like about them.
Cats?
Yeah.
Poor old hamsters running round on the wheel. Why do they do it? Because they're as daft as a 2-bob watch, I should think. Them poor bloody hamsters thinking, I could get out of here in about 2 minutes flat. And then they find out they ain't going nowhere. Just like the rest of us. We're all on the bloody wheel ourselves, aren't we?
I like stick insects. I once got a train journey with me and 2 stick insects. It was brilliant.
I know, and I very much like a stick insect, but not as a intellectual conversationalist. I mean, hey, have you seen my log impression? Yes. It doesn't go much further than that, does it?
Stick insects don't have a developed vocal tract. That wouldn't happen. I think, though, dogs are stupid.
They sort of been on and off the shelf, as they say, really. There's been a time when I thought I was on the shelf, and then I got took off again.
I want the price ticket on myself.
No, not at all.
No.
I wouldn't even sell you.
I wouldn't sell you either.
Ah.
Ah.
And so I'm nicely happy now in my life, having been took off the shelf, and that's like a nice family that I'm in now, and that's very comfortable sort of feeling.
You know, if I have too much chocolate, I get a bit fat, and I put on a lot of weight.
The main staple diet for runners is.
I used to go around the back of shops, supermarkets, going down the back of the skips to get
No
the
problem.
chocolate out. Yeah, I've eaten food that's been a week old and whatever. Anything from frozen to tins. I used to find all sorts of food in the skips. I was like liberating it.
I think I've ate more lead shot than I've certainly ate oysters. I think that's probably, I know, it's probably why my brain's a bit funny, or, yeah.
Dog and cat food.
It smells absolutely disgusting,
Well,
doesn't
it's
it?
very strong.
Horrible.
It's very strong.
Oh, I don't think I'd like to eat a sheep's eyeball or an intestine of a cow or something like that. But if you've got all these sort of intestines and all these sort of, you know, not so appetising bits of animals, then they mix it all up in a mixer and then they call it
Whelks mussels. That's like eating slugs.
Is it?
Oysters and stuff.
I've never
Brilliant.
tasted a slug.
Ugh, sliding down your gullet.
But you don't eat slugs,
Like
do you?
eating a slug.
Well, how do you know when you've never had one?
That's how I would imagine it to be.
Actually, beans gives me wind and lemonade makes me burp.
I like gardening, but I'd like to do more. I'd like to have the time. I love to see things grow. I love to design things.
Slugs, in my opinion, they're ugly looking things. But they're probably eating other creatures, aren't they? So they're probably doing your garden good to leave them.
I don't think they are actually doing your garden good.
Are they not?
They're eating... If they eat your leaves
I
and
know
things,
nothing about
they can wreck
gardening.
your plants.
Can
That's
they?
why they make slug pellets.
Oh well, yeah, you're
They
right.
don't make worm pellets.
Silly old me, I know.
I'd like to be a bird.
I don't know, something like an Andean condor. You know, lots of space, you know, sort
Big
of
bird of prey or something like that.
soaring above the mountains and just looking down and looking for your dinner.
Nice big albatross.
No more like being reincarnated as a sparrow.
I like to put food out for them,
Bread or
especially in the
nuts?
winter, because you see them in the trees and they're sort of looking a bit nonplussed, aren't they? But I put one of those peanut things out recently, thinking I was doing them a good turn, and it was like 10 weeks later, there was no visible sign of any nut disappearing, and I thought, well, what's this all about? I don't know.
How'd you open
Maybe
the bag?
Well, you don't open the bag, do you? They're supposed to go through the bag, aren't they? How do birds stay up in the air? It's all to do with aerodynamics, and that's far too complicated for me to go into now.
Some things aren't worth thinking about, are they like that?
Not all birds stay up in the air, do they?
No, they don't.
If you dropped an emu out of an aircraft, it wouldn't stay in the air, would it?
No.
Pigeons are vermin, man.
Sky rats, what I call pigeons.
You know what I mean? What we need is a few more peregrine falcons around London.
And sparrowhawks.
Sort them out, you know what I mean?
Actually, I find that one of the most relaxing sounds there is, birds singing.
Yeah, lovely.
Well, what is a UFO?
You know what a UFO is?
What does it stand for?
I can't remember. Something. What is it?
An unidentified flying object? No, I've never seen one of those. I don't even know what one is.
So anything that you don't identify that flies past you is a UFO, isn't it? So basically, if it's a bird that you don't recognise, What's that? You get the book out, you can't identify it. That was a UFO, wasn't it?
No, you're being silly.
I don't believe in aliens, really. I don't believe in strange people and strange creatures and strange anything, because God wouldn't create anything that's not perfect and that's abnormal and strange.
Well, I think a lot of the portrayal of aliens comes from people who say they've seen aliens or they've been beamed up by aliens. Some of these stories people come out with.
Do you think they are stories, or do you think they're true?
There's no doubt in my mind that these people have had an experience. Well, they're always looking for this missing link, aren't they? And they've never found it yet. The connection between us and monkeys. I mean, what sort of idiot wants to prove he's come from a monkey?
I've got as far as I'd like to evolve as I am at the moment. At the moment.
I'm searching, you know what I mean?
Aren't we all?
Maybe one day I'll just wake up and think, I have evolved.
One day we think you got there, the next minute you get run over.
That's it, game over. You know what I mean?
Christmas. I love... I go everywhere at Christmas time with my mistletoe attached to my glasses, and then I can kiss all the chaps that I've come in contact with. I managed to get the caretaker. Well, I didn't manage to catch him because I had my mistletoe on, and he was in the car park, and I went up to him and I showed him my mistletoe, and he ran, and he's a really fast runner, and I couldn't catch him.
I like seeing friends and just sort of taking it easy and just sort of being comfortable but not extravagant.
I just like sitting down, eating, drinking, being merry, really.
As I get older, I like hearing Christmas carols, and that's quite nice sometimes. But if it's cold at Christmas and there's snow on the ground, it's lovely that side of it.
I think you should go back to the way it was, like the old pagan days.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Celebrating nature, just sit down with a big plate of organic food. That'll do.
Midwinter's feast on winter solstice.
I think even if you hate turkey, you've got to have it at Christmas. I think it's the law.
It's delicious turkey.
Turkey butties, a bit of stuffing on it, you can't beat it, innit?
And a bit of cranberry sauce on mine.
No, you can't beat that.
As far as exchanging of presents goes, well, I've given up with that idea.
I think people get more stupid with their money at Christmas. The amount of stuff that people buy, I think people buy things just for the sake of buying them. They don't actually think, this is useful, you know what I mean?
You can get like a stocking, like a selection box, but a selection stocking for pets.
Well, that's different than selling your cat a card, isn't it? Because what can a cat do with a Christmas card?
Yeah, I can imagine a farmer sending a card to his herd.
For the cow at Christmas.
Not to be confused with the wife or anything.
It's nice giving things. I came across an old saying. I love old sayings. They last because they're true. The grasping hand is never full. To be full, the hand has to give.